So the two people that have really been supporting me and they always will support me and they've been driving me to do more are actually my two parents. Especially started out with tennis, and this cooking thing kind of came by surprise, and they've continued to do anything that they can to help me achieve whatever it is I want, whether it's cooking, maybe it's tennis, or hopefully both. I am and I'm not your average 14-year-old kid. I'm gonna try to take you on a journey from one thing to another. I want to have different flavors. I want you to experience different kinds of tastes, textures, presentations, all that. So today we're going to be juggling up some vegetables, but all jokes aside, we're going to be making an awesome vegan dish. And now I know this is a little bit different, but the reason why I'm doing this is because I love meat. And this is an amazing change from just keep eating meat after chicken, after whatever the case may be. And it's also kind of hip and trendy. And I thought this would be a great recipe for all the people that are vegan out there. So we're going to be making a medley of roasted vegetables, cauliflower, beets, potatoes, carrots, and we're also going to have an almond foam. I know it sounds like a little bit of a kind of weird pairing, but it's going to be so delicious. Let's do it. Alright, so we're going to start off with our carrot. And one thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about was actually vegetables. Now, vegetables are actually pretty overlooked if you think about it, because mostly the star of the dishes are meat, and a lot of people overlook that. I overlooked that too. So I thought it would be kind of cool to pay almost like a tribute to vegetables, and at the same time I could knock out this incredible vegan dish that's super simple, easy to make, and that's honestly is really delicious. Because one thing that I love to do inside my dishes with meat is actually roasted vegetables, potatoes, beets, and cauliflower. My roasted cauliflower is pretty bomb. And then we're going to be chopping up our carrots into kind of like thicker matchsticks. And also please be careful when you're dealing with root vegetables, potatoes, beets, because they tend to be very hard to cut. So make sure you have a sharp knife, but at the same time, please be careful. Because one thing I find is that whenever you're cutting with stuff, I find that I always get cut more, not when I'm going with a sharp knife, but actually with a dull knife. Perfect. Alright, so that's it for our carrots. Alright, so next we're going to do our potatoes. Now these are just russet potatoes. You can use anything you want, especially for roasting. And just cut them into like these really nice kind of little big cubes. And now we're going to be doing the cauliflower. The one thing I hate about cauliflower when you're cutting it is the huge mess it makes, but it's so worth it. Alright. And then now we're going to be very, very gentle with this and just kind of pick it off. And this is another thing why I just love vegetables. You go inside a grocery store, you see so many different types of vegetables. Some they're green, orange, they're red, they're different shapes. Each vegetable has a different shape and size, and that's just what I love about them. So in regards to competing, it's something that I actually really love, but it's something I never kind of used to like when I was younger. But one thing I could never get over was just that pressure for playing tennis in tournaments, because I would always choke and like I would never play to my full potential because the nerves got the better of me. Then it came to a point where I got over that, and like cooking cooking competitions is something I absolutely love, and it's something I actually want to keep doing more of. Last but certainly not least is our beets. Now, first time I had beets, made a huge mess, like a really big mess. The cutting board was stained, and I tried scrubbing it off, and let's just say that doesn't work. So I came up with this trick. I actually learned this. It's so simple, and it's such a cutting board saver. All you need to do is put a piece of parchment paper or wax paper on your cutting board, and just kind of tuck it underneath, and then you can just chop your beets, do whatever you need to do, and then once you're done with your beets, roll, crush it up, throw it away. No stained cutting board and no hassle. Alright, so now what we're going to do is just grab our knife and go over and cut the skin off. Alright, now we're just going to chop this into a little smaller pieces, not as big. Alright, so we're done with our beets. Alright, so next we're going to roast our vegetables. But the key to roasting this is a good temperature. I have my oven set at 375 degrees and oil. So you don't want to be stingy with your oil, we don't want to drown it. And you have to use coconut oil because it's vegan. Alright, so we're going to place our coconut oil in a little bigger bowl that's microwave safe. And we're going to microwave this for about 25 seconds until it melts. Alright, so I've got my sheet tray coated with some parchment paper. You could use wax paper if you don't have that, don't worry. So now what I'm going to do is place our carrots, just kind of place each one inside their own little sections. Roast these. Alright, so I'm going to grab my tweezers because I don't want to get my hands extremely dirty and stain the rest of my other ones, and just place them on there. I'm not afraid of touching the beets or anything in case someone wants to roast me like I'm going to roast these vegetables. Alright, so I'm going to grab some coconut oil and just kind of drizzle it over our carrots. Same with our potatoes. Then we're going to add in a little bit of fresh oregano. Now one thing, a lot of people tend to use dried oregano, which I recommend using, but usually when you're using herbs, it's best to get them fresh. And the reason why we're using dried oregano is because fresh oregano tends to have a very strong flavor, and this is already a really strong flavor, but the dried actually tones it down a bit. So we're just going to sprinkle just a little bit, not a lot, on our potatoes, carrots, and beets, not the cauliflower. And add some lemon juice right over these. So next we're going to grab a little bit of fresh salt and pepper because there's nothing like a little bit salt and pepper. Not too much, just a little bit. Perfect. And now we're just going to mix everything. Let's stick these guys in the oven to let them roast. Alright, so next we're going to be sauteing up our Brussels sprouts. Now what you could do, cut these in half and you could roast them, but they would take a little less time to cook. But I like them when they're really nicely sauteed and just leaf by leaf. So I know this sounds really insane, but basically we're just going to pick the leaf off of each Brussels sprout. Now I know this kind of seems like it would take a while, but it actually doesn't. Alright, so I ended up discovering a brand new trick, which is going to be a time saver. So all you do is cut the end off, actually, a little bit there, and then you just peel around the sides continuously, because there's always going to be another thing around the side. Alright, so this should be just about enough Brussels sprouts. I guess that's our carrots. Let's go check on them. Alright. Yep, those carrots look nice and crispy. And we're going to let these guys cook out a little more. Alright, we'll cook these for about another 5-6 minutes. Now the reason why they're taking so long is because root vegetables are generally tougher and they take a lot longer to cook them. Alright, so we have our hot water that I just boiled up in the microwave with our Pyrex. Please be very, very careful when you're dealing with hot water. Be extra careful. Alright, so we're going to kind of quickly blanch up our Brussels sprouts. Now you could blanch them in a pot of boiling water, but this is also a lot more convenient. So just throw them in there. And you want to just cook them for about a good 30 seconds. Alright, let's add in a little bit of oil. Just dump them directly in your pan. Brussels sprouts already have a very high water content, so you have to be careful because they will splatter a bit on top of the water we're putting on top here. A bit of pepper. Alright, those seem just about cooked. So I'm just going to transfer them to our plate of vegetables. Perfect. Our vegetables seem about done. Looks like a colorful, nice little plate. Alright, so we got all of our ingredients all prepped. They're ready to go. Now it's time to plate this insane dish. So, we're going to start off by just placing our potatoes, our cauliflower, and sometimes the most imperfect things in cooking can be the most perfect, and that's why I love cooking. I'm just going to add a little bit of parsley. Wait, before I add any more, in case you forgot, we actually have one more thing to make, and that's the foam. And the reason why I waited till the end to do that was because it kind of deflates kind of quickly. So, for this foam, you guys are going to need about 1/4 cup of almond milk. And then you'll also need about a tablespoon of soy lecithin. Give that a blend. This is where it gets super cool. So I'm just going to grab a super tiny spoon, and what you want to do is just skim the tops and just place little foams everywhere. And this is just going to add a whole nother element. And then we also have our little pieces of parsley. And there you guys have it. Roasted vegetables, potatoes, carrots, beets with a almond foam and a little bit of parsley. This is such a simple, easy, delicious dish to make. And maybe you'll surprise yourself if you're a meat lover like me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.